Our state senators, delegates, county council, and myself have worked hard over the last few years to ensure that we have the resources that are needed, certainly to fund our capital needs in Montgomery County. But our unique enrollment surge and resulting capacity needs means that we have to do even more. That's why my Department of Finance, Management and Budget, and Government Affairs have worked with President Navarro, the Council, Dr. Starr, President Barkley, the school board, and our state delegation leaders in Annapolis to craft a priority initiative for the upcoming Annapolis session. The county will seek from the governor and the Maryland General Assembly for an arrangement similar to the one approved last year for Baltimore Public Schools. Like Baltimore City and the county, we will seek $20 million from the state of Maryland to leverage a $40 million investment by the county. These funds will supplant the county's share of a new state authorization for school construction. The $60 million revenue stream will support bonds up to $750 million, which will fund construction projects over the next 5 years. These resources would be over and above the county and state capital expenditures for MCPS. Now, why are we seeking this, and why the need for this? Let me just give you just a couple of numbers here. From 2000 to 2012, Montgomery County Public Schools grew by nearly 15,000 students. That's more than the growth of Anne Arundel, Howard, Frederick, and Baltimore counties combined over the same period. Over the next 12 years, projected enrollment will grow by 25,000 students, starting at the elementary schools and ripping through our middle schools like here at Julius West, and our high schools. That's almost a 20% increase. Nearly half of the public schools in the county are projected to have a seat deficit by 2018-19 school year. The county's unprecedented increase in enrollment is the highest in the state. No other jurisdiction in Maryland is facing this tidal wave of students. That's a huge number. It's a huge problem for us, and we intend to fix that problem. And we intend to start today with this announcement and this surge of effort on our part to try to leverage local and state fundings in a new approach similar to that we had in Baltimore to make certain that we have the seats, the enrollment capacity needs that have been met for our students. I'd like to now call on Council President Nancy Navarro to say a few words.
When I joined the Board of Education in 2004, and I served there until 2009, every single year we discussed what was coming. The projections were very clear. We understood, and parents understood, that unless we did something a bit differently, we were not going to be able to catch up. In my tenure on the County Council, we have grappled with extraordinary economic difficulties, always also understanding and focusing on the need to provide capacity for our students. Montgomery County is a very attractive county, and I think that if you go around and pull people randomly, they will say that I moved here because of the schools, because of this great school system. So we have now reached a point where we have witnessed and we have analyzed and we have reached the conclusion that unless we work very hard to find extra resources at the state level to complement what we have put every year, we will not be able to catch up. So I'm really pleased to be here representing my colleagues on the County Council in partnership with the executive, in partnership with our state delegation to push forth and to find a way to bring the resources necessary so that we can provide the adequate facilities where such extraordinary work happens every single day in our Montgomery County Public Schools. I want to thank the Board of Education and the superintendent for doing an incredible job every single year in trying to address these issues, but I think the time has come for us to reach together over to the state and to find a way to finally catch up. So thank you very much, and I look forward to continuing the conversations as we move through this legislative session and hopefully find success in this united effort. Thank you.
The chair of the Council Education Committee, Valerie Irvin.
Thank you all very much. Good morning. It's a very exciting day today to be joined by members of the House and Senate delegation in Annapolis who have been extraordinary partners in making sure that all the needs in Montgomery County Public Schools are met. Thank you very much to County Executive Ike Leggett for putting this press conference together, because I think it's extraordinary. And all I want to say is, following up on Council President Navarro and the executive's comments, is that it's time for Montgomery County to change the narrative. There's a narrative about our county in the state of Maryland, which is that we are wealthy beyond anybody's expectations and that the streets are paved in gold here. And what I want to say today is that that is absolutely not true. We are a majority-minority school system. The students in our public schools come from 157 countries and speak 138 languages. Almost 34% of all of our students receive farms, which is an indicator of poverty. And nearly 12% of students in our school system are in special education, and 13% are in ESOL. This creates a significant educational load for our teachers, and we have been really trying to pound this message home for many, many years now. And so today is the day that we hope we're all on the same page moving forward, that we talk to people from around the state of Maryland about what Montgomery County Public Schools actually really looks like and who these students are. I can go into any high school anywhere in Montgomery County, and what I see there mirrors what I see in Baltimore City Public Schools, Baltimore County Public Schools, Prince George's County Public Schools. Montgomery County is no different. And what we are doing is trying to catch up, as the council president said. Let me just acknowledge my colleagues who are here. Council Vice President Rice, who serves with me on the Education Committee. Councilmember Phil Andrews, who was not able to attend, but I think he's coming a little later. Councilmember Roger Berliner and Councilmember George Leventhal. And Mark Elrich, I'm sorry, Councilmember Elrich, who just arrived. So we are here in partnership and solidarity with our delegation, and we can't wait to get started and roll up our sleeves. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Board of Education President Chris Barkley.
Slide in here. Good morning, everyone. Let me first thank our county executive, our county delegation, and our county council, and we appreciate his leadership in pulling us together to do this. And I do want to acknowledge my colleagues on the Board of Education, Ms. Pat O'Neill, Ms. Shirley Brandman, Ms. Rebecca Spondrowski. I know that our Vice President, Mr. Kaufman, will be here shortly. All of us are dealing with the pretty difficult traffic today. I also would like to thank Craig Stanton, the principal here at Julius West Middle School, for having us here on Halloween. I know this is a celebratory day, but it really isn't about trick or treat. You know, this is very serious for us, and I know the delegation has heard this from the Board of Education over and over again, but our enrollment issue is a crisis. It is a crisis. If you look over a 6-year period, we have gained 14,000 students. 14,000 students. And as our executive has said, that is a combination of the increases of 3 or 4 jurisdictions. This is significant. All of our children deserve to be in a decent classroom. They deserve to be learning inside a quality facility. That's really what we're talking about here. In our CIP, we've approved classroom addition projects slated to open in 2016 that will increase capacity here at Julius West by about 400 students so that they're ready for the enrollment bubble that's coming. That will ease the crowding concerns that we have for now, but within 10 years, we expect this school to be at or near capacity again. That's a similar story around the country, around our county, As we expand, more children are coming. We are putting up schools, and as we're putting them up, we're having to put up portables almost immediately. That is significant. Our growth, I have to say this again, our growth is at crisis proportions. Our growth is at crisis proportions. Ms. Irvin, you and I have worked together for quite some time, and I really appreciate you talking about who are coming into our schools. Our schools are becoming poorer and browner. Our children, no matter who they are, no matter what zip code they live in, deserve to be in quality facilities. And that's what we're talking about now. So the partnership that we're building with our state delegation, ensuring that we can do this work together, is all about making sure that every child in this county has the ability to learn in wonderful facilities. MCPS actually accounts for 17% of the enrollment in the state. I have to say this. But the impact MCPS has on education in Maryland is far bigger than 17%. In 2012, MCPS accounted for 32% of the AP exams taken in the state of Maryland and 39% of all of the AP exams that earned a college-ready score of 3 or higher. Of the African American and Hispanic graduates from Maryland that earned a college-ready score on an AP exam, 43% of them came from MCPS. That's the work that we're doing in our schools. Maryland has 16 semifinalists in the prestigious Siemens Math, Science, and Engineering competition this year. 15 of them were from Montgomery County Public Schools. 16 in the state, 15 of them from Montgomery County Public Schools. Of the state's 185 National Merit Scholar winners from the class of 2013, more than 1/3 of them came from Montgomery County Public Schools. We are talking about a wonderful school system. I don't say it to be boastful, though I will admit I am very proud. But I think the high achievement of our students automatically earns us, and I definitely don't think this, but I wish it did. I wish the achievement of our students earned us more resources from the state, but it doesn't. But I am hopeful that the size of our district and the positive impact that we have on the state's national reputation for education will lead to fruitful conversations about how we can ensure that we partner with the state and with the district and the county to serve our students well. We're not asking for special treatment. We're asking for assistance that we need to make sure that we have space we need for our children. If our kids don't have safe and modern classroom, it compromises their learning. That's why we're all here today, to ensure that our young people have a safe and quality space to learn in. Let me also acknowledge our Vice President, Mr. Kaufman. I know you were stuck in traffic, as many of us were. I appreciate you being here, and I thank you again. I look forward to us working together to solve this problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Starr?
Good morning, everybody. Happy Halloween, of course. And I also want to thank Principal Staten and his staff for welcoming us here this morning. So I greatly appreciate the collaboration and support that our county and state leaders are showing today. We know that our public schools are a big part of what makes Montgomery County a great place to live, raise a family, and locate a business. I released my recommended capital improvements program earlier this week and put the message very simply, we're bursting at the seams. The enrollment numbers, our growth has already been stated over and over, and it is real in all of our schools. We are very grateful that the county and its citizens have made a substantial investment in the facility needs of MCPS over the years. But even with that investment, we have 15 of our 25 high school clusters that are at 105% capacity or higher. If you could see that map over there, you would see what that looks like. So I've asked for $1.55 billion for our capital improvement program, which is a $184 million increase over our current construction plan. This is significant. I understand it's significant. If my CIP recommendation is fully funded, it will make a dent in our crowding, but only a dent. Even after this investment, more than 40% of our schools will still be over capacity, 40%, even with a $1.5 billion investment. To actually meet all of our needs, we would need a CIP closer to $2.2 billion. $2.2 billion need that we have. So to put it another way, we simply don't have enough seats for our kids. and we have to use other ways to find space for them to learn. That includes holding classes on stages, using hundreds of portable classrooms. Right now, we have 379 relocatable classrooms in MCPS, and 335 of those are in elementary schools. I was at a school, I think it was yesterday, maybe it was the day before, where there's a small reading group in the hallway. 3 or 4 kids meeting in the hallway. It's the only place they could find to meet with the reading specialist who was providing them some extra support. I've put 14 new classroom addition projects in my CIP, 12 in elementary schools, and I'm keeping 8 other addition projects and 5 new schools on schedule. But in order to put a focus on building capacity in my CIP, I've had to recommend delaying 20 revitalization and expansion projects that will replace buildings that are way past their useful life. And we're falling further and further behind in our infrastructure maintenance, such as our heating, ventilation, air conditioning systems. We must find a way to make sure that every student coming to our schools has a safe, modern, comfortable, and permanent place to learn. A space that supports the development of the knowledge and skills our students need for success, the academics, the creative problem solving, and the social emotional well-being they need to thrive in the 21st century. In order for that to happen, we do need to partner with the state. The school system can't raise the money. We simply don't have the taxing authority. But we have shown that when we're provided the resources for construction, we use them efficiently and economically, and we always deliver on time and on budget. If we're able to secure up to $750 million in bonding authority from the state, that will allow us to develop approximately 1.5 million square feet of instructional space that will serve about 18,000 children. I hope our parents, staff, and students will join us in urging the state to find a creative solution to meet the needs of our students that are here today and those that are coming in the future. Thank you very much.
We'll now hear from our Maryland State delegation, starting off with State Senator Jamie Raskin.
Thank you, Ike. I'm the chairman of the Montgomery County Senate delegation, and I'm joined today by Senator Jenny Forehand, who's here, and Senator Manalino, who you'll hear from, and our newest colleague, Senator Feldman. I don't know where he is. So we're delighted to have you with us, Senator Feldman, for your first press appearance as a member of the Senate with the rest of the delegation. So, you know, one of the facts that jumps out at us here is that if you look at that period of 2000 to 2012, we had more growth in our student enrollment than did Howard, Frederick, Baltimore County, and Anne Arundel combined. And then you can also add to that Prince George's and Baltimore, which saw declines in their student enrollment. So Montgomery County is in a completely unique situation in terms of being overwhelmed with students. Now, it's a good problem to have because our real wealth in Montgomery County is our people and our students, and we love it. But as the superintendent just said, a majority of our school districts are now over 100% when you look at the high schools in terms of capacity. So we're filled to the rim and overflowing right now, and there is no expected reduction in enrollment. On the contrary, it continues to accelerate. So, you know, I want to salute the county executive and the Board of Education and the county council for getting on top of this problem and bringing it to our attention. And let me just say something about the politics of this situation, because we stood at a similar press conference like this last year on the question of transportation, and everyone said that was a foregone conclusion. There's no way that there was going to be any comprehensive transportation package, and the council stood with the executive, stood with the state delegates and the state senators, and we were able to get that done. And, you know, we are a famously opinionated lot in Montgomery County, but when we get together, we get the job done, and we are all together on this issue. And I just want to explain the absence of my good friend Delegate Ann Kaiser, who's the chair of the House delegation. She's getting married this weekend, so we gave her an excused absence. She might be out trick-or-treating for all I know. So, but we are determined to get into Annapolis in January and to let our colleagues understand what a crisis situation this is and that the state needs to act.
We'll now hear from Chair of the Ways and Means Committee, Delegate Sheila Hicks.
Thank you. Yes, we are going to go down there and you work as a unified force. There's nobody here that's not on your side, and we'll be doing what you want. I think this year, after the transportation tax issue and the Baltimore City operation, where all the members of the Montgomery County delegation voted to support the city in their need. They have different kinds of needs than we did. We were on their side. Now it's our turn, and and rightfully do. We have 1 million people in Montgomery County. There are 6 million in the state, and I know all of you, being in education, see people moving here from within the state because of our schools. We like that, but it has created a crisis, the one that we're all going to face now. I believe that it's an election year, and the governor is going on to do other things, but he owes us, and we're going to ask for his help. But the best part of this whole operation, is that we're unified. It's the first time in Montgomery County. I've been in a long while. It's been a long time when we could all stand up here and be 100% going forward. I look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Delegate Hickson mentioned the governor. I remind the governor that he was born here, in Montgomery County, that his mother still lives here in Montgomery County, and I know where she lives. Yeah, within a mile of here.
Most importantly,
Richard Manalino.
Thank you very much, County Executive. Because Delegate Kaiser isn't here, I'll quickly introduce the delegates that are here. Delegate Carr, Delegate Gilchrist, Delegate Kramer, Delegate Robinson, Delegate Aurora, Delegate Gutierrez, Delegate Hickson, Delegate Ludke, Delegate Barkley, and Delegate Lee, Delegate Kelly. Hopefully we got all the delegates that are here. As you can see, and as I think my colleagues have pointed out, we were together on transportation, we succeeded. We're together here, we're going to succeed. What you see, I think, in these maps, and you'll have a chance to see them when all the tall people get out of the way, is Montgomery County is a victim of our own success, right? Over the last 20 years, we've pursued a policy of growth, of development. We've attracted people from all over the world. This is a wonderful place to live and to raise a family, and as a result, the schools are bursting at seams. Every year, we add more children than almost any school system in the country. I mean, considering most school systems are smaller than Montgomery County, we add, over the next 6 years, we're going to add more children to our school system than most of the school systems have in total enrollment in the state of Maryland. That's an incredible challenge if you had to build a school system from scratch, and that's what we need to do, and that's why it needs an extraordinary investment from the state, from the county, from the school system in order to make it happen. If we don't get this done this year, if we don't try to figure out ways in those dark blue areas to find additional school capacity, it will result in a slowdown in growth. And we'll be very clear, slowing Montgomery slows the state of Maryland. And if we're serious about continuing economic growth in our state, that starts here in the economic engine of our state. So we have to have this investment, this extraordinary investment and partnership from the state in order to make sure that we protect our economic future. I want to thank especially, and I don't know if the executive has, Jennifer Hughes, who's the director of your Office of Management and Budget, for trying to pull together everyone together, the council, the school system staff, state people, to talk about how we make this happen. It's been an excellent enterprise, and hopefully it will lead to success during this legislative session. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And now we'll hear from the head of the county's PTA, Janet Gilman.
Well, good morning and happy Halloween. I would like to thank the PTA leaders from around the county who are out in the audience, and also our voters, but live capacity issues with their kids every single school day. Tonight, many, if not most, of the over 151,000 children who attend Montgomery County Public Schools will fan out across the county going trick-or-treating. They'll dress as everything from construction workers to zombies to superheroes. Some will venture to fabled haunted houses throughout the county in search of a special scare: tight, crowded staircases, leaky roofs, failing, noisy ventilation systems, Small closets turned into living spaces. Huh. That sounds a lot like a growing number of schools in Montgomery County. As many others have mentioned today we find ourselves roughly in the middle of a decade of tremendous growth. Back in 2006, I stood before county leaders, many of whom are up here today, pleading for capacity in my school cluster. We had old, outdated facilities that could not be retrofitted for the needs of 21st century students. Buildings with HVAC systems beyond their life cycles, needing near constant, costly repair just to keep children warm and dry. And simply no space for learning, or quite frankly, even lunch at an hour that even mildly approaches lunch. We have a shortage of classrooms. We have a lack of sufficient core facilities. Okay, that was 10 years ago. Today, the situation is much more dramatic. Since that time, as we've noted, student population has grown by over 14,000, and we will add as many or more in the next 5 to 7 years. That's roughly 25,000 students over a decade. And as others have said, that is bigger than most of the school systems in the state of Maryland. And yet, until today, we've tried only to compensate for this growth within the CIP process by adding a new elementary or two, working to add a middle school, adding capacity through additions and vital modernizations, all the while trying to keep faltering plant and facilities up and running. And we constantly postpone and delay due to inadequate funding. So it hasn't been enough. It hasn't been fast enough, and it's not enough for our kids in our schools. We can no longer choose between equally urgent projects, because those projects aren't just about space. They're about children. They're about over 151,000 kids who have one shot at education, an education that is our obligation and the state of Maryland's obligation to provide. The proposal announced today by the county executive, in conjunction with all our county and state leaders, holds the potential to move from doing only what can be fit into a bottom line figure to working to fund a solution that will enable all vital construction and maintenance projects to move forward, and to move forward now. On behalf of the nearly 50,000 members of Montgomery County PTA, I urge all to work together to find the dollars to create and maintain the learning spaces needed now to enable our children to dream big, to imagine and to realize their potential, so that tonight's Halloween costume scientists and inventors, teachers, superstars, and explorers will, through the education we provide them, become those dreams. So if you, our elected leaders, can find the path to fund and build for them, we and our children will see you as superheroes, whether or not you're actually wearing a cape tonight. Thank you, and happy Halloween.
Thank you. In last year's General Assembly, I strongly supported the efforts of the city of Baltimore. But in so doing, I said at the time, there may become, and I'm certain that it would, a Me Too moment. This is our Me Too moment, and it is justified based on everything that you've heard here this morning. We have borrowed to our limits. We've increased and enhanced as much as we possibly can. We've been as efficient, as effective as we can with the resources that we've had. We reprioritize within the resources that the county has allowed it in the years in the past. We are at a point now, given the enrollments and the aging structures that we have in Montgomery County, to seek a new way to get there. That path was provided last year when the General Assembly provided an approach that allowed Baltimore to borrow heavily through the state. This is our Me Too moment, but it's not Me Too for selfish reason. It is Me Too because of fairness. It is Me Too because of necessity. And we plan to go to Annapolis to fight a very hard and vigorous fight to get what is just and due for Montgomery County. I want to thank all of those who've been here this morning to speak so eloquently about this need and about our efforts to go forward. Thank you. I think everybody will be around a little bit longer to respond to press questions individually. Thank you.